What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne Yang. Thanks for joining us. Taiwan's opposition parties have rejected an invitation from President Lai Ching-te to attend a national security briefing.
对于这一次赖清德总统用这么草率、冲促、充满了算计、放话、抹黑的安排，我们非常的遗憾。因此，我本人不克出席此次的会议。我明天礼拜三上午会待在立法院，继续的进行各个委员会的质询。
President Lai proposed meeting with the opposition in a speech he gave on his first anniversary in office. The meeting was scheduled to take place on Wednesday morning and would have touched on matters of national security and diplomacy. But Huang says that those plans were made unilaterally and that in the meantime, Lai and his allies have continued to smear the opposition. At another press conference, the main opposition Kuomintang also said they would not attend the meeting. KMT Chair Eric Zhu said that he welcomes the prospect of good faith cross-party talks, but set forth a condition before it could happen.
赖总统用你最大的智慧去化解大罢免，才是朝野对话的最重要的一个基础。
The KMT also says that it requested parts of the meeting to be open door, but that the presidential office rejected the request. In a response, the presidential office said that matters of national security are classified and can only be talked about under closed-door conditions. As Taiwan's mass lawmaker recall movement continues to gather steam, more and more campaigns are running into legal trouble due to forged signatures. Leslie Liao reports.
More people affiliated with Taiwan's main opposition Kuomintang are in hot water. Another 5 have been charged with forgery and breaching personal data protection laws. Among them, Huanglu Jinru, the head of the KMT's Taipei office. The group is suspected of gathering fake signatures, supposedly to support recall campaigns against 2 ruling Democratic Progressive Party lawmakers, including Secretary General of the party's Legislative Caucus Wu Siyao. Prosecutors say their investigation turned up forgery rates as high as 96%, meaning over 9 in every 10 signatures were problematic. They suspect the campaigners may have filled out petition forms themselves by copying information from party member lists. Besides the 5 charged, around 20 other KMT affiliates received deferred prosecution. This is the 3rd indictment relating to recall campaigns against DPP lawmakers in recent weeks, drawing harsh criticism from the ruling party.
没有想到有政党这么厚颜无耻，这么大言不惭，拿着整份90%几伪造的联署书，竟然想要来滥用台湾民主的制度，还想要来罢免民进党的立委，这根本就是民主的诈骗。
It comes amid a mass recall movement in Taiwan, with campaigns vying to remove lawmakers from both the KMT and the DPP. To initiate recall votes, petitioners must gather enough signatures from a legislator's constituency. This is where the KMT has run into trouble after reports surfaced that petitions targeting DPP politicians contained the signatures of dead people or were forged. Prosecutors in this latest case are seeking heavy sentences for those indicted, saying they lack remorse for undermining Taiwan's democracy. But KMT officials say the defendants' actions do not merit severe punishment. They say that even the investigation into the 5 has been unfair.
其实他起诉的条文还是像我们过去讲的，这个基本上它并不是一个什么重罪啊。那么在整个的侦办的过程当中，包含羁押以及大规模的去搜索调查，已经违反了比例原则、司法手段，去影响到整个罢免案的进行。
The indictment comes just days before Taiwan's Central Election Commission is set to announce which lawmaker recall petitions will continue onto a vote. This recall movement is already the largest in the country's history, but these charges will now complicate an already complex legal process. Chris Ma and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
More than 240 people have been killed and thousands more injured as fighting between Iran and Israel enters its fifth straight day. Israel carried out a series of drone and airstrikes on Iran throughout Monday, following a barrage of missiles fired by Iran. One of Israel's strikes hit Iran's state television station, forcing a reporter to flee during a live broadcast. Israel launched its air campaign on Friday, saying the goal is to stop Iran from developing weapons of mass destruction. Iran says its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, but is threatening to leave the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a joint statement on the Middle East with G7 leaders after initially refusing to. Trump left a day early from the summit in Canada as Israel's conflict with Iran continues to heat up. Easy Wells reports.
All smiles here on the second day of the annual G7 summit, as world leaders cozy up for a group photo in Western Canada. But this year, Canada's Mark Carney will be wrapping up his first major summit as Prime Minister, with one less leader present.
We had just a really great relationship with everybody, and it's really nice. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand. Is there a reason, Mr. President, that you can't?
The quote, big stuff in question, the escalating situation in the Middle East, as Israel continues to strike targets in Iran. On Monday, Trump called for the evacuation of Tehran on his Truth Social platform, putting the strikes down to Iran choosing to not sign a nuclear deal.
I gave Iran 60 days, and they said no, and the 61st you saw what happened. Day 61, so I'm in constant touch, and as I've been saying, I think a deal will be signed, or something will happen, but a deal will be signed. And I think Iran is foolish not to sign one.
G7 leaders did agree on a statement affirming Israel's right to self-defense, despite earlier indications that Trump wouldn't agree to calls for de-escalation. And before his early exit, Trump officially signed a trade agreement with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
And we just signed a document. This is sorry about that.
A very important document.
Albeit with some confusion on the details on Trump's end.
We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union, and it's a fair deal for both.
But for the other leaders at the summit, the show goes on, with those remaining left to try and put up a united front in an increasingly divided world. Delphine Chen and Izzy Wells for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's domestically built Haikun submarine has embarked on its first sea trial, marking a major step in the country's efforts to boost deterrence against China. The Haikun left the port of Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan on Monday for the sea acceptance test. Though the submarine was unveiled in September 2023, it has faced long delays in going to sea. The trial will test the Haikun's propulsion and navigation systems at sea. It's expected to give Taiwan's indigenous submarine program a significant boost amid increasing military intimidation by China. Defense companies from the U.S. and Taiwan are showing off their capabilities in producing sea drones, part of efforts by Taiwan to develop these unmanned systems. Defense reporter Jaime Ocon was in the port of Suao to meet with some of Taiwan's potential partners in building a sea drone fleet.
Here in the port of Suao off Taiwan's east coast, a competition is underway. For the next 2 days, roughly a dozen companies from Taiwan and the United States are showcasing prototypes of unmanned surface vehicles, or sea drones, along with other systems. All of them competing for the chance to win contracts with Taiwan's Zhongshan Institute, which facilitates research and development for the military. One drone company, Alterion, has already signed on to work with Taiwan on AI.
We believe that future conflicts will be driven by the ability to decide quickly. So we have the speed of decision of machines. So AI is important, and is important for the survival of any force and also Taiwanese forces. But it is the choice of the Ministry of National Defense how far it wants to take it.
Taiwan recently unveiled a new initiative called the Swift and Sudden Plan, which aims to invest at least $25 million into the production and the design of sea drones. Companies here looking to get some of that funding and take advantage of Taiwan's existing shipbuilding capabilities.
Taiwan is good at making boats. They have a whole wealth of experience in this aspect. So we're hoping to able to make the boat here in Taiwan and then have their AI to help us to basically reduce the manpower needed to run all the operations.
As Taipei faces growing threats from Beijing, the military here has been taking lessons from the war in Ukraine about how to best defend itself. Footage from the front lines show inexpensive sea drones destroying multi-million-dollar Russian warships, part of Ukraine's asymmetric defense strategy. And Taiwan is following suit, ditching tanks and larger systems for cheaper and more mobile weapons that are still lethal.
What I believe for Taiwan is that you need to be able to multiply a relatively small size of armed forces to combat very large potential aggressors. And one of the best ways to do that is to leverage the multiplying effects of autonomy.
Already, military units across the country are starting to introduce drones into their arsenals. And Taiwan says that now it's time for the Navy to step up too.
Companies here say that the future of warfare is unmanned and they'll need fewer soldiers directly on the battlefield. Now, Taiwan's military wants to produce thousands of these unmanned systems in the Taiwan Strait to defend the country. But what company will work with the military is yet to be seen. Luffy Li and Jaime Okan in Su'ao for TaiwanPlus.
The government is looking for ways to help people make healthy choices. One proposal in the works could make sugar-free drinks more appealing than their usual sweet beverages. Irene Lin has the story.
Do you like sugar in your tea? If the answer is no, you might be in for a treat, as Taiwan's legislators are looking to waive the commodity tax on unsweetened bottled drinks.
如果因为少了3亿的不含糖饮料的税损，却能够减少233亿的相关医疗健康的支出，那国家社会还倒赚230亿。无糖免税，健康加倍。
More than half of adults and a third of children and teens in Taiwan are overweight. One major reason: sugary drinks.
那几乎有40%的民众是每周饮用含糖的饮料3次以上，超过92%的人都知道有危险。
Legislators say they hope this tax break will encourage more people to opt for healthier choices.
让我们的无糖的饮料的生产商能够降低它的一个生产成本，那也可以降低我们国人的采购成本，进而去引导我们国家的不管是儿童啊、青少年啊，还有我们的成人们呢，都去改变自己的消费习惯。
But there are mixed feelings about just how effective this policy would be.
如果到时候价格落差有比较大的话，我觉得如果落差小小的，其实还是不会有影响。
买的就是，无糖不热，对，就是一定要有糖的部分。
那所以价格你觉得是没有吸引？
对，价格没有。
Still, some are confident the proposal will help create healthy habits.
现在很多人会吃健康餐啊，等等，就是这也是一个，就是从生活去改变。然后饮料可能以前喝微糖还是半糖，那慢慢可能改成1分糖，1分糖久了，你可能可以接受无糖。
The initiative has the attention of both ruling and opposition legislators, but the details of the policy and whether it will pass are still up in the air.
Choosing sugar-free drinks like this one won't lower your grocery bill, at least not yet. But with the government considering a tax break, they might soon cost a little less and come with some health benefits. Howard Zhang and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Visit TaiwanPlus.com or follow us on social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, meet Nilo, a poodle lifeguard in southern Spain. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.